What now? What now for Mal Meninga and the Kangaroos? Mal said he wanted to give every player a game at this World Cup. Well, that's now happened. What changes does he make for Italy this weekend? It's the final round of pool games before sudden death starts. What changes does Mal Meninga make? Well, let's ask the man himself. Mal, very good evening to you. Where do we find you this Sunday night, your time? Because you're not in Manchester, are you?
No, Ben. Yeah, good evening or good morning for you guys over there. I'm in a place called Windermere, which is in the Lakes district in Cumbria, which is right up the north of England. So I've just given the playing group a bit of time off, just a couple of days, and I've with my staff actually up in Windermere. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, so we're just having a look around, having a bit of a spell, getting away from footy, relaxing a little bit until we get into the back end of the tournament. Yeah, so. Yeah, it's a good little place to be.
Nice one. I see the players. Some of them have headed to Scotland. Some are going to play golf. I've seen Latrell Mitchell on social media in the tartan on the Royal Mile with a few of the boys.
Yeah, it's funny, all 24 have gone up there, so they all chose to stay together, which is fantastic. So they jumped on the bus on yesterday, our time afternoon, and then drove up to Edinburgh. So they went up there as a group. Really keen on having a look at what Edinburgh has to bring, and obviously they're going to play a bit of golf up there as well. So most of them love their golf, which is great. I think they played today, and they're going to play another few rounds tomorrow, I feel, and then they're back tomorrow night.
Geez, Mel, I tell you what, you've got a team unified then. If all the boys on their days off want to spend time with each other, and I guess that was evident from what we heard Pat Carrigan talk about yesterday. He's had a rough week. I can only imagine what it's been like for the team where they hear Pat Carrigan is hurting because he lost his mate Liam Hampson. But he mentioned that every single player and staff sent him a text to make sure he was okay in his room in the quiet times. I mean, that you've got a good team and good characters on your hands there.
Really, really pleased, Ben. Yeah, I mean, they really connected, really bonded really well. It was sad, obviously tragic news to hear about with young Liam, and obviously we send our condolences back to his family again. And Pat's obviously a good mate of his as well. So we've rallied around Pat. And like I said, it's tragic, and he'll grieve in his own time. But he's handling the situation with a great deal of strength. So. Yeah, it's very sad, mate.
Did you consider not giving him a run to try and deal with that grief?
Oh, I had a conversation with him, obviously, a couple of times about how he was feeling, and, it was okay if he felt that he couldn't play. But he felt that, out of respect, that, Liam would have loved him to play footy, so play for Australia. So that's what he chose to do. We had the black armbands as well, and we had a minute's silence just to acknowledge what has happened, the tragedy that's occurred. So, in his point of view, he wanted to play, he wanted to get back out there and do what he does best, and that's play great game of rugby league.
Yeah, played some great footy. The entire team did. What do you do, Mel, this week against Italy?
Ben, we just keep our rotation process going. So I'm really keen on giving everyone a game, as you mentioned in. Obviously, your preview, but, I want them to play at least 2 out of the 3. We want to keep them fit, and we want to keep them healthy, of course. Interested in, playing, or putting their best foot forward for, the final rounds of the World Cup. So, still in a rotation process at the moment, making sure that everyone gets some great game time, and whoever gets picked will be, match fit and raring to go.
All right, so you want every player to have at least 2 games under their belts before the playoffs?
At least 2 games, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So at this stage, like I said, they're away on a bit of a trip at the moment, so we don't come back and have our first train run on Tuesday where I'll announce the team. But rest assured, players that have played 2 games will probably get a rest, and the guys that have only played 1 game will continue playing. We're playing against Italy, as you've seen, it was a fantastic win against Scotland. Not in the sense that we played Scotland, but just the way they went about their business, and they're very ruthless in the way they played. The habits we're trying to form, with the footy team, I thought was evident, and we just keep on working away at cohesion, in the team. So I'm really happy with, like I said, the bonding. How everyone's connected socially and off field, but also on field as well. So we're heading in the right direction.
All right, Mel, I'm doing my maths here. Cameron Munster's played 2 games. We see James Tedesco's played 2 games. So does Money get a breather this week?
Money will probably get a breather this week, definitely. And not quite sure with Teddy, because he's obviously playing Italy. He's playing against his ancestral nation, which he's played for, I think, 13 and 17. So I'm going to leave it up to him. So when he gets back from Edinburgh, we'll have a bit of a conversation. I like him to have a bit of a rest, but I'm not going to, sort of tell him that he can't play. So we'll see what he thinks. But most of the guys that probably played 2 games already will probably get a rest.
Right, a couple of questions out of that then. If he does have a rest, who's the Australian captain?
Well, the vice captains are Isaiah Yeo and Cam Murray. Have only played 1 game each, so they'll be both playing. Obviously, on Saturday night we play down in St Helens, which is great. So they'll probably just joint captaincy, and they both take on the role, both of them at the same time, I would imagine.
All right then, well it sounds like, if I'm getting my maths right, Daly Cherry Evans and Nathan Cleary in the halves.
Yeah, they'll play, They'll play in the halves, and we'll swap them around and see how it all goes.
Okay, so they will spend time at 6 and 7, both of them.
Yep. That's the.
Well, that's all you've got for me.
That's what I'll try. That's what's going to happen. We got Jack White, who can play 6, and Matty Burton, who can play 6 as well. So, but I want both of them to play on the weekend, whether that's 7 and 6 or one on the bench and swap over at half time. We'll just see how things pan out. But at this stage, they're both going to play.
All right. Well, then when you after you play Italy, we get into the knockout, the sudden death stages. What do players need to show you this weekend? And is it simple as just showing you something to get that selection for the knockout rounds, for the quarters and beyond? I just think that, with rugby league, it's a fairly simple game. So we're trying to come up with a very simple game plan, and we want to execute that really, really well. Everyone knows and understands that, rugby league is based on basics, and just those little things that we need to get right. Particularly some stuff like off the ball efforts that we value in our game. So all those little things that we talk about, coaches talk about with their team on a daily basis and a weekly basis, and going into games, I just want to see them executed really, really well. So. We've got criteria, Ben. So we've got KPIs around what we need to achieve as a group, and built into that is what we need to achieve as individuals as well. So they're fully aware of what they need to do as individual players and the roles that they play in the team. And if they do that really well, they're going to put their hand up to be selected at the back end of the series. So it's not just how they play. Also, it's about how they mix with the team. It's all going great. How they train. How they look after themselves. All those sort of things will come into consideration. Mal Meninga, my guest at 18 minutes past 8 on a Monday morning, as he is every Monday, joining us live from Windermere in the Lakes District of the UK.
That's right.
Mal, I know I'm keeping you up because what is it? It's just after 11:15 on a Sunday night there.
It is, yeah. I'm out getting some fresh air, I must confess. Trying to stay awake for you, Ben.
All right. Are the decisions that you're going to have to make in the next week, are they keeping you awake?
Yeah, they are a bit, because it's important. It's important to the team, and it's important to me that someone's going to be disappointed, So I want to make sure that we'll try to minimise that disappointment as much as I possibly can. And obviously, telling someone they're going to get picked in the team at the back end of the tournament is going to be exciting for them. So it does. It's a tough decision because they're all playing really well. They're all good people. But unfortunately, someone's got to miss out. So having those difficult conversations, to be honest with you, is difficult. So I just wanted to make sure I do it in the most appropriate way. And that's why I keep on rotating the team and have a look at players in different positions, and give them every opportunity to make sure that they get a chance to play at the back end. So, yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult to make these decisions. That's one of the tough things about coaching, and particularly a national side, because they're all great players. They all can play the game, and regardless who you pick, I know that they're going to do a great job. So getting that balance right is really, really important.
Mel, once you make those tough decisions, all things being equal, if injuries aren't happening and forms are right, do you stick then once you hit the quarters? Is it that's your final 17 or 19?
Not necessarily, but more than likely, if that makes sense. So it's obviously, as you said, there's a few things that could come into play, like injury or maybe a performance, but we still win. Obviously, we got to win. It's a knockout competition, so when we get into the finals, we have to win. So those sort of things will come into play. But I'd like to think that when we pick our at 19, I guess when we go into the quarterfinals, it looks like we're going to play against Lebanon, that we pick the team that's going to take us right through to the finals.
Mate, I'm going to let you get to bed after that fresh air that you're getting. But look, one question without notice. And I don't want to bring sponsorship into it, but I'm thinking what's happened over the last couple of weeks with Australian sport. Player power has more than ever, I think, growing, and they're having a lot more say in what happens outside of their actual game in any sport. Is that a good thing? Or do leaders, do administrators, they just need to lead and go forward, or do they need to be collaborative with players in this day and age?
Oh, I think it needs to be collaborative. Like society demands that, professional athletes are role models, and that's what society demands. So role models, obviously, not only when you talk about behaviour, but it's about their beliefs and their opinions are valued. I think if they got a cause and they want to stand up to that cause, I think that's a great thing, because that's what society demands. You just can't all of a sudden say, well, we demand you to be a role model and not have an opinion. We can't expect you not to say things that you totally believe in or you don't believe in. So I think it's a good thing. I think you need to stand up and have an opinion, because society, like I said, society demands you be that person.
Where do you draw the line though, Mel? Because we all have lived by the adage that no one player is bigger than the team.
Yeah, but it's not about sponsorship in my mind. It's about beliefs. It's about having the courage to stand up for what you believe in. It's not about $15 million. That's going to disappear from your sport. What's wrong with having an opinion? That's what democracy is all about. That's what we expect out of everyone in our society. So, but more so than anything, if a player misbehaves, they're on the front page. So why can't a player, a person, have an opinion that's relevant to society, whether it be mining, or whether it'll be, First Nations business, or whatever the case may be, Black Lives Matter. Why can't they have an opinion?
No, I'm with you. I think and this is where my confusion stems from, Mal. I mean, you need to have an opinion, you need to have your beliefs and stick to it. It's just, when does the line get crossed where it starts to be detrimental to the team? And I thought that may have been the case with our netballers, but geez, they've bonded together and they've unified over this. So winning competitions.
Well, I look at my team, and just because you got an opinion that might be different to others, does that mean you're not a better player, or you can't be trusted, or you're not going to go out there and do your best, put in your best performance? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means you've got maybe a different opinion to everyone else. So I don't think that should segregate you from a sporting team. They shouldn't obviously prevent you from playing. It's just a belief, and we should respect other people's beliefs, particularly in a tight environment like a sporting team.
Yeah, 100%. Sport, it is a broad church, and it welcomes all. Mal, thank you, mate. Go get some sleep. We really appreciate it. I always feel more enlightened after talking to you. I say it every week, but it's always the way.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, mate.
There we go, Mal.
I'm looking forward to hitting the sack, I must confess.
All right, have a good sleep. Appreciate it. Mal Meninga, the Kangaroos coach, live from the UK. They take on Italy in St Helens at Mal's old stomping ground from back in the 80s when he played over there. That's happening Saturday night.